Hello and welcome to Girl Math, where we make money make sense. Today we're going to be going over budgeting basics. So to start, what is a budget? Well, a budget is a written plan that aids you in managing money. This includes your expected income, expenses, financial goals over a specific period of time. It allows you to see where your money is going and to track your expenses. This lets you spot patterns you can make adjustments to control your spending and helps you plan for future expenses. A budget is not one size fits all, and there are many different types of budgets and budgeting styles. Some people like to write budgets on paper or have a Google Sheets or use a budgeting app. Budgeting is supposed to be personalized to you, and that's how it works best. Not everyone's going to have the same salary, expenses, or wants. And as time goes on, your budget should adapt and change to the changes happening in your life. Budgets also help you achieve long-term and short-term goals. For example, you want to take a summer road trip with friends in 3 years, so you start saving and planning in advance for the expenses of that trip. Or you want to buy a cool sweater that's $100, and budgets can help with both of these. Budgets also allow you to stay out of or shrink your debt. So debt is money you owe someone. This can snowball over time to become a big problem with interest and fees. This can damage your credit score, stress you out, and cause conflict. By the way, if I'm using language that doesn't necessarily make sense to you now, we will definitely cover them later. Budget lessens your debt by allowing you to spend less money, pay your bills in a timely manner, and avoid borrowing more money. So, considering all these points, how do you start a budget? Well, first you need to track your income and see how much it amounts to after taxes. This is known as your net income. And then you need to track your expenses over a specific period of time. Look at the money in your bank account and also see what debt obligations you have. Then identify your priorities and find a budget that fits your needs. Revisit and reevaluate this budget periodically to see if it still works for you and make changes if it doesn't. So here are some examples of common budgets. First one, the 50-30-20 budget. This is where your after-tax income is split in 3 categories. 50% necessities, so these are things you can't live without, like food, water, housing, electricity, and loan payments. You can go to my previous video where I talk about the difference between needs and wants. And then 30% of your wants, which is non-necessary shopping, dining out, movies, and then 20% you're saving. Next example of a budget is the 60-30-10. This is a similar thing as the 50-30-20, except it's more tailored toward people with smaller incomes or that spend more on other things. So you have 60% for your necessities, 30% for your wants, and 10% for your savings. Another type of budget is known as the envelope system or cash stuffing. First, you determine a spending limit for each expense category, like groceries, and fill an envelope with that amount. Once the envelope is empty, you can't spend any more money that month on that spending category. The final example of budgeting that I'm going to be going over in this video is known as pay yourself first. Basically, you decide how much money you set aside for savings before you allot amounts for utilities and groceries. Now, with all these examples in mind, how do you choose the right budget? Well, first you want to look at your current financial situation and your financial goals. Determine how much effort you want to put into your budget. So compare each budget's commitment level, so the time, maintenance required, and keep in mind that some are stricter while others are more flexible. Next, see if you would rather use an online tool or track your budget physically. Do you want to be using an app, or do you want to have your own system on paper or in Google Sheets? And then finally, go back and reassess your budget. See if it works, if you need to change things, and if you no longer need that budget. In conclusion, these are the budgeting basics, and I hope that you would join us next time where we will be going over choosing the best deal, unit pricing, and negotiation. Thank you!